Welcome to Entrepreneurs Being More for Wednesday, May 11th. We're continuing our series on results. Results are a good thing to create in life. And for sure, you're wanting to create results in your Nikken business. And we've been focusing on three areas: income, community, and influence. And we've been spending quite a bit of time now on this first area, defining and talking about creating results in this area of income. And we've been focusing for the last several months on the concept of recruitment and going through that process step by step, whether it's consultants or customers. And we're ready now to move on. Before we talk about retail, we're going to talk about a concept that's extremely important in team building, and that's rank advancement. And really, once someone's recruited, they're part of your organization, you want to move quickly in this direction of helping them move towards executive and then towards silver. And we have an expert with us. It's such a pleasure to have Ben Woodward, someone who's been an executive in many network marketing companies and is currently a field member, Royal Diamond in Nikken, and we're grateful to have him. So Ben, thanks for being with us again tonight.
Yes, thank you, and good evening, everyone. So like Jeff said, tonight we're going to talk about the importance of rank advancement. And specifically, we're going to focus on two ranks only in this series of calls. The first one is executive, the importance of getting people to executive as soon as possible. And then the next one, which we'll discuss next week, is silver. The reason we stopped there versus going gold or platinum or diamond is because what I'd like to see happen from there is what we're talking about here in the context of rank advancement is helping new people that we have brought into our teams to rank advance. That's the context of this discussion. Over the last couple of weeks, we've talked about onboarding people, helping them get started right, how to help them start effectively, what are the critical activities as they get introduced into the business. And now we're talking about getting to those first couple of steps. If you're interested in going, how do I go beyond that myself? Maybe I'm a silver or an executive, but I want to get to gold, or I'm a gold and I want to get to platinum or to diamond or what have you, then my invitation would be this: reach out to me personally and we can put together a plan on a one-on-one basis. I think that is far more effective to identify the personal activities, requirements, challenges, pitfalls that you might be facing, and then how to personally overcome them and develop and grow from there. So if you're looking to get into a more robust, detailed analysis or strategic discussion of how you can rank advance yourself into the higher levels, then let's make that a one-on-one conversation. I think that will be more productive because there are some fundamental, consistent activities, behaviors, and a certain volume of work that can be generalized across the board there. But to have a plan be effective and real, then that needs to really look at what does your current business look like? How does that compare to the last few years? What are your plans moving forward? What are your unique skill sets? What are your available resources? What is your available time? What is your commitment? What is your own personal belief? What are your barriers that you face? What are your perceived barriers that you face? All of that kind of stuff, because there's a lot to unpack there and then reconstruct into a meaningful plan so that we can reverse engineer and get you from where you are to where you want to be. So, so that's a separate issue. Today, we want to talk about helping that new person that you brought in that has just gotten started get to executive. And of course, executive is the first step. It's a simple step, really. It's creating 1,500 points worth of volume in a calendar month. Ideally, we do that within the first 30 days of being enrolled, because that opens up the opportunity for them to receive the Power Start bonus, which is 100 Nikken reward points. That gives you some great selling features there where you can say joining is pretty much free if you are productive in your first month. Yeah, and that can help to reimburse that joining fee. And that's why it's going to set at that level. So there's first of all, the basic outline of getting to executive, 1,500 points. They also need to do at least 100 personal PV in that 1,500 to make sure that they are qualified and active in that capacity. So this is, I've got one simple requirement here, and then we can perhaps open it up for discussion, questions and answers, and so on. But this is one simple rule that I apply and that I have taught for a long time. And I think this is really the best way of helping someone get to executive. And that is, I discuss that goal and encourage others to discuss that goal of getting to executive in the first 30 days. I actually bring it down to around the first week and encourage them to do it straight away. But I have that conversation with them before they've signed the contract. Yeah, because the important thing here is you are setting their expectations up immediately for what is required of me in order to build my business. You know, one of the great challenges that we face is there is so much flexibility. Anyone can do the business, so anyone comes in. You can do it any way you like, is how sometimes people teach. You can do as little or as much as you choose. It depends on what your goals are. But if we keep it too broad and too vague, then people are left actually not knowing what to do. Yeah, and if they don't know what to do, what typically happens? They do nothing, right? It doesn't happen, nothing happens. So it's important to set some goals up front. And like I said, I do this in the prospecting process. So before they've even joined, I'm helping them already start building their contact list. I'm already helping them put into place who their first customers are going to be, who they're going to reach out to, why they're going to reach out to them, what conversations we can have, what products they might be interested in, and so on. So we get them immediately thinking of their first customers and their first business partners and reaching out and connecting to them before they've even joined. This is all part of the conversation in the recruitment process. And this helps with one of the biggest concerns that most network marketers face in recruitment. And that is they put in all this effort to sign someone up and then get amazed when they join and then do nothing. Have you seen that? Either personally or in your teams? Someone phones you up and goes, yeah, hey, I've got a new recruit. This is so exciting. A month later, nothing's happened. 2 months later, they're still not placed their first order. 3 months later, they haven't recruited anyone. At the end of the year, they've quit. And you go, what happened there? What went wrong? Yeah, so much of what went wrong there is actually on the sponsor's shoulders. It's their responsibility. It's them dropping the ball there. It's the failure on their part to deliver the right message in the recruitment process. People need to understand what they're joining, why they're joining, what they're wanting to achieve, and why. One of the key reasons that it's important to go executive right away, and like I said, I encourage people to do that in their first week. Yeah, so have that dialogue and that conversation so that if you're, because we all know the recruitment process doesn't happen in a day. You don't find someone on Monday, add them to your contact list, have a conversation Tuesday, sign them up Wednesday. It doesn't typically happen that quick. Wouldn't it be wonderful? The reality is it doesn't happen that quick because there are multiple times we need to have contact with them, have conversations, do follow-up, help adjust paradigms, introduce them to the business, introduce them to ABCs, so on and so forth. There are multiple touch points there where there is conversation and dialogue happening. During that time frame, which we've gone over in the past number of calls, during that time frame is when you want to be talking about your first goals are to get to executive in the first week. Let's talk about what that means, what that represents, what that looks like. Let's look at the different product packs that you can sell. Let's look at the different products that are on offer with the monthly incentives. Let's look at why you want to do this. You get your Nikken reward points. What are the benefits to you doing this? But here's one of the key benefits both to you and to them in going executive right away. One of the key benefits is it gives them evidence, immediate evidence that they can do this. When they have immediate evidence presented to them that they can win, that they can succeed, that they can achieve their goals, because you've helped them achieve that goal right out the gate. You've helped them cross that line within that first week. And you say, and I would put pressure on yourself in this capacity too, when you say, I want to guarantee that no matter what, you become an executive in your first week. Yeah. What are the things that this also strengthens? It gives them confidence that they can win. It gives you greater assurance that they're going to stick, because all the evidence points to, if someone gets some quick wins in that first month, in the terms of a check, a bonus, an incentive, some recognition, a rank advancement, any of those things, which going executive in the first 30 days definitely does. They get a rank advancement, they get a nice little check, they get some recognition, they get the Nikken reward points, and so they immediately feel a sense of accomplishment. What the evidence shows from research in our industry is that when that happens, they are more inclined to stay active in the business. And 1 year later, they are more inclined to be active and engaged compared to someone that has not done that. So if you want this to really move, if you want your action to take root and to stick and to have your results remain and stay strong, then we want to make sure that we are focused as their sponsor on their first 30 days as a critical, life-saving, transformative period. Okay? So giving them that guarantee, giving them that assurance, that commitment that no matter what, you team up with me, I'm going to get you to executive in your first week or in your first 30 days, is a huge commitment. It gives them a clear direction. It gives them assurance. It gives them all of that feeling of confidence, of assurance, I can do it. But it now does something else for you, which is really important. My front door just swung open and my daughter is heading for the door. Bear with me 1 second.
Should I tell a joke? As a time filler. I only know 2 jokes. Go ahead, Ben.
I'm back, sorry. I live up in the hills and it's really windy and our door just hadn't been closed properly, so apologies. But here is the second thing that it does, which is even more important in the long-term scheme of things. If you give them that guarantee, and I encourage you to do that because it puts fire under your own seat as the sponsor to do a better job, right? So that, you know, when I said, have you ever seen this where people join and they do nothing? You know, almost everyone with their cameras on was nodding at me. Yeah, yes, we've seen this. Yes, we've seen this. So it's a common issue. You put the fire under your own seat here and give them that promise, give them that commitment that in working with you, we're going to make sure that this happens, right? Now you've put the pressure on yourself to make sure that it happens, which means you're going to follow up, you're going to be active, you're going to be engaged, you're going to be partnering with them, you're going to be checking in with them. Okay, what are your activities today? How did you do? So on and so forth. And you're really going to drive behavior as a consequence of the responsibility you put on your shoulders to make it happen. The benefit that this creates is when they get that result and they go executive straight away, they now have increased confidence in you as their sponsor. You want that. Why do you want that? Because you want to be able to help them get to the next level, which is silver. Yeah. If you haven't helped them get to executive in the first month, if you've been passively, mildly involved, if they're not quite sure what to do or where to go, and you haven't given direction or clarity, and then you suddenly start saying, let's go silver, you're not going to have credibility. So even if you give the right advice, if you don't have the right relationship, the advice will never be implemented. It's really important. It's not just about what we know. It's about the relationship that we develop with our enrollees that really matters. Yeah. So let's make a note of that, because what you want to have is as much influence as possible in leading them and directing them to making the best choices that will be the most productive, the most rewarding, the most assuring, the most confidence building, and the most engaging as possible. But we too often, sponsors in network marketing compromise their own authority by not giving their new people a strong start. Okay, so you've got to understand one of the most important things you can do as a sponsor in Nikken is help your new people start strong. Okay, and like I said, and that process begins before they even joined. They have clarity and understanding and direction and already are involved in activity before they've signed the contract. There is nothing I find more exciting than a prospect that turns up to a meeting, be it a virtual or a live one, that brings a guest with them. When they bring guests with them to the meetings, it's so much easier for them to say yes. Because what is the emotion that generates? They have a positive experience. Their friend is having a positive experience. Their reaction is going to be a huge sense of fear of missing out. Now, if their friend's going, I'm interested, how can I say no? I'm going to get left behind. They're going to overtake me. I don't want that. I want in because I can see immediately I'm going to benefit because I've got a teammate already. So in that process, like I said, of when we're sponsoring them and they haven't signed up yet, we want to set clear goals, but we can already engage them in business building activities before they've signed up. We don't wait till they've signed the contract. Start immediately, as soon as they're showing interest. And even if they're undecided about whether or not to join, encouraging them to bring guests to meetings and to talk to customers or potential customers is a huge motivating tool. You might think, at first, that's work, so why would it be motivating, right? I'm asking them to do business building activity. But if you help them to get started by having a few conversations with some select people in advance while they're in the decision-making process, in that phase, and you get those people involved in the ABCs with them, that becomes powerful. Because when they get their interest peaked, then what's going to happen? Their interest is going to get solidified. Yeah. So it's a great way to strengthen them, help them get to yes, and then immediately convert it into rank advancing, recognition developing, confidence building activity, all within the first week of when they sign up. Wouldn't that be great? Now, the critical thing here, when we talk about rank advancing people to executive, like I said, it's such a small step getting to executive. 1,500 points is really just a baby step. It's the first step in getting going. If you were to create all of that activity around that one person, but more importantly, if we focused our recruiting activity in a more meaningful and assertive and aspirational way, meaning we're not recruiting one person every now and then. If you really want to help people get to silver, you want to get lots of people to executive. Yeah, it's actually a numbers thing where we talk about the herd mentality, yeah, and the crowd effect. When you've got a crowd of people that are doing it all at once, there's going to be a huge shift that develops. If we're doing this in isolation, where we're working in occasional ones and twos across the course of 6 months or a year, then we don't get that momentum. They die out really quick, because what that executive needs to see is social proof. We talked about that in one of my recent calls, didn't we? That we have this need for social proof, social validation. And if they aren't getting that because other people around them are not doing the same thing, then it becomes very easy for them to lose that momentum, lose that energy and conviction, and slide backwards. So if you want to strengthen that one person, I want you to imagine like you're planting a garden. We've just moved into a new house. We've got a big garden out the back, and right now it's just dirt, right? And we're hoping at the end of this week, we're going to get the sprinkler system put in. Next week, we're going to get some lawn put in. We're halfway there. Then we'll get some plants and some shrubs and some trees planted. But what we won't do is plant one single shrub in the center of the garden or along the verge or along the fence line. We're not going to plant one shrub. What would happen with that one shrub? For a start, it doesn't look like a very attractive or appealing garden, does it? To have one shrub there. I want you to think of your garden like a garden full of executives and silvers. How should it look? How do you want it to blossom? Yeah. Where does the strength come? It actually comes in them all being planted together. Yeah. So if you can learn to plant and go out there and talk to more people, bring them in, give them all of that message of strength at the beginning in that recruiting process, help them get started strong in going executive in those first 7 days, 30 days at the max. Yeah. But in the first 30 days, but you've got other people that are doing it too, simultaneously at the same time. It's like planting all these trees in the garden, but they've all got the capacity, unlike the shrubs in my potential garden, they all have the capacity to look around and see each other. Yeah, because we're human, right? So as we look around and see others in the garden, we go, I'm planted in a good place. Yeah, and I allow my roots to grow. If I look around and go, oh, it's windy up here, there's no one around, it's just me, I think I'm doing the right thing, but I've got no social proof that I am because no one else is doing it around me, then I'm going to wither. So if we're really committed to that one person, we can't be committed exclusively to that one person. We need to be committed to more because it's all about community. And this really gets back to this whole message that Nikken's talking about is the global wellness community. In order for us to truly thrive and prosper, we actually need to work in bunches, in clusters, in groups, in teams, in numbers. Yeah, whatever language you want to use to represent a collective. Yeah, we can't do it in ones and twos. It simply doesn't work because in this business, because it requires work and effort comes with growing pains and discomfort and unexpected bumps in the road and unexpected learning barriers and all those kind of types of things. Because all that stuff happens, it also means that people quit, stop, retire, give up, think again, pause for a minute to take a breather or whatever it is. But we see that all the time, right? So we have a revolving door, which means there is a principle of attrition that happens in our business. Every month and every year in your business, there will be statistically a percentage of your business that will stop working. That's the nature of business because we deal with mankind, people, yeah? And people quit, people stop working, they get tired, they give up, they do all that stuff with everything, yeah? I always use the example of a gym. Yeah, you join a gym, at the beginning of the year, it's busy, not too busy come December, right? And then it starts again in January with New Year's resolutions and all that kind of stuff, off it goes again. But they know that. And so they've had to work out all these different plans and strategies to capture people and get as much money from them as they can before they quit, which is why years ago, it used to be the only way you could get a gym membership, at least in the UK, was if you paid an annual subscription. You had to lock in a commitment to an annual plan. Why was that? Because they knew you'd actually quit after a month or two for the majority. And if they only took people on a monthly basis, then they were going to have problems financially. Yeah. So they were really driving that hard. They knew that behavior, but we know that behavior too. So we've got to understand we can't really work in small numbers and expect great results because there is this principle of attrition where every year your business will be here and it will slide backwards just a little bit. Unless you put more people in that are going out. There's always going to be a little bit of a hole in your pipeline, in your organization. That happens across the board with everything, okay? There is going to be a little leakage. There is going to be a few people that quit and step out. That's all part of the process, but you've got to anticipate that and build your business to overcome that and to grow beyond it. So if I'm only doing a little bit and I recruit every now and then, and I develop an executive every now and then, chances are I'm putting in just enough effort doing that to maybe break even. You know, maybe I'll stop that 1 or 2 people that's going out by putting 1 or 2 people in if my business is small. If I'm getting into the gold and platinum ranks and I'm only recruiting every now and then and getting a couple of people to executive and that's it, my business will be going backwards, not forwards. I need more people in that pool. Yeah. And so I want to conclude by just summarizing what we've talked about today, because I think we've covered some pretty important points. One is The message around getting people to executive begins in the recruitment process. We start that message and that language there. As strong sponsors, we take 100% responsibility for helping them get started strong. We want to encourage them to become independent as quickly as possible. Yeah. But we need to understand that how much of their success in those first early moments really does come down to how well we help them get started strong. Okay. So we want to help them get started strong. One, because it gives them confidence when they have evidence presented to them that they can do it. It gives them confidence. That confidence leads to an increase of faith. That increase of faith leads to increased action, because faith is a verb. It's a doing word. Yeah, it's an action. If I have faith, I act. If I have belief, maybe I might not. But if I've got faith, I have action. I take action. So there's a difference there. So you want to build their faith by giving them evidence, demonstrating to them that they can do it. That also gives you a second string to your bow, and that is you've validated yourself as a sponsor. They're going to listen to you more and follow you better. Now you're a stronger leader of your team. Yeah, because leadership is about having authority and influence where other people will change their behavior because of what you say and do. Yeah, if they're not changing their behavior, you're not really a leader. You're not leading anything. You're not changing anything. Yeah, so it's just a word only. So you want to really drive that forth and put in that effort, put yourself under the firing line there and say, I'm going to guarantee it. We're going to make this happen. And then you work really hard with them in those first few days to get them across the line immediately. And the way you can guarantee it is you talk about it before they've signed the contract. Yeah. The next thing you want to do is you also want to help them have confidence by bringing prospects and customers and guests to meetings before they sign up. That strengthens their resolve. It gives them some excitement. They can see some momentum coming. It gives them a little bit of fear of missing out, and they join up, they get going quicker, and they've got some partners to start with straight away. The final thing that's really important, if you really want that person to grow and not simply be an executive, but see this as a meaningful stepping stone to their futures being better, you can't plant a single plant alone in your garden and expect them to flourish. We want to surround them with other executives. So you've given them validation that, hey, I can do this because look, we just did it together. In your first 7 days, we said it, we did it, we got it done. High five, you celebrate. But you also want to show them that you're doing it with other people too. When they see other people around you doing it as well, that gives them social proof, that strengthens their conviction, and it increases their activity tenfold. It really does. So let's understand that law of attrition, understand that if we're only doing ones and twos, we won't be building our business and getting to gold or to platinum or to diamond if those are the numbers we're working with. We want to have volume. So we want to talk to as many people as we can, get that message strong before they join, have them bring their guests and their potential partners along for the ride before they've even signed up. Get that started strong, give them immediate social proof and validation right out the gate that you can do it, team up, and then show them other people around you that are doing it too. You do that, ladies and gents, you'll get things cooking in your business. Yeah, you'll get the key thing that so many people are missing, which is duplication. Duplication is very hard to master if you've only got one person to do it with. If you get a lot of people into that bucket where they're all going for executive right away, they're all working towards that, suddenly you've got a team buzz vibe and an atmosphere there that is, really transferable. When others people start popping up, it gives them confidence that they can do it. That's one of the reasons why network marketing markets go crazy when they launch, because with that speed of activity, so many people start popping up and rank advancing very quickly in those early days. But one of the reasons that happens is not just a burst of activity, it's all the social proof around them that makes other people go, they're doing it, this works, it happens, I'm going to do it too. That's the principle. Yeah. But it all begins with getting people to executive quickly. But we don't do it in ones and twos, we do it in big numbers. Okay, so maybe this is something we could all look at as a team and say, let's over the next 2-3 months, set a goal together of a certain number of executives we're all going to create and bring into the business. If everyone on this call, this right now tonight, there's 16, there's normally 20, 25 people on this call. Let's say there's an average of 20 people on this call. If everyone did that with just a couple of people each, 2 or 3 people, you got 40 to 60 new executives just in this table, around this table, that are joining the business over the next couple of months. What would that do to those 40, 60 executives? Especially if we started talking about, now let's go for silver. That would happen, wouldn't it? But it can't happen if, for example, just Ruth or just Nancy or just Catherine decide to sponsor a new executive next month, and that's it. You won't get the duplication that way. The numbers don't follow. It follows en masse, because that's human nature. So we've covered some big issues here, haven't we? In really developing meaningful, real executives with a bright future. We've got to do it en masse. We've got to do, and that's the great thing. This is a filter. 1,500 points in a month is amazingly achievable. Yeah, with the product range that we've got. We've got an advantage over so many other MLMs because we've got high ticket items and we've got monthly repeat order items. Yeah, we've got the best of both. So you can bring people in with some big ticket items, get them active and engaged, give them an immediate win, and then get them active and engaged on a monthly basis by moving them onto auto ship. You do that kind of thing, and you've got a powerful business that's going to be providing revenue for you month after month after month. Big ticket item in the first purchase helps them to rank advance, get validation, social proof. Boom. Next thing you know, they're moving forward with their auto ship program or their wellness subscription program. Sorry, I'm using old vernacular. And then off we go. Okay. But you get that en masse, get it on a group level, and things change. 40 to 60 people doing that, you'll see other rank advancements happening as a result. 1 or 2, they'll wither off and die. Okay, so that's the big secret that not many people are talking about. We need to get 40 to 60 doing it in a month in order to get the other things following. Yeah, because you get that social proof. That's what builds the next level, the social proof. So with that being said, I'll pass it back to you, Jeff, and thank you for letting me bend your ear another night, everyone.
Thank you, Ben. So we've gotten off to a great start in this area of rank advancement. We'll continue next week, and I believe we'll move on to the next rank, silver, and helping people once they've achieved executive, moving on to the rank of silver. Ruth, did you have a question or a comment?
I have a comment. Since next week we're doing silver, under ladies, leadingladies.net, under the rank advancement tab, I have a 13-minute video about going silver, and I would highly recommend to watch that because that will only help you for next week.
Cool. Let's make that our homework, everyone, before we come back next week, so we're all on the same page. Yeah.
Ruth, do you happen to have a direct link to that?
Okay, let me get it, and I'll put, if you can just wait a second.
Maybe
Just
put it
leave
in the chat in a minute. Gloria.
Okay.
I have on my calendar that Nikken next is next week. Is that wrong?
I can't imagine it's that soon.
It's not the third Wednesday?
Oh, it might be. Next week is the third week.
I couldn't remember if he was doing it before Seiko Kai or after, because Seiko Kai is the 21st.
I had it down on the 25th.
All right, maybe he's doing it after. We'll do the homework either way.
Yes, let me.
I had it on the 25th, but I think Ruben said it was on the 18th on the kickoff call.
Let me check out the calendar. I've got it right in front of me. Okay, so May, Nikken next is the 25th for English. So next week we'll continue with rank advancement and looking specifically at silver. And Ruth has placed the link in the chat. If you want to find it and copy it, if you have your browser open, you could open a new tab and paste it directly there for saving. But I'll also send the link out that Ruth has shared with
So it's
everybody.
these large vessels, the ones with names
Oops.
that we.
I'll send it out with the invitation so everybody can find that Going Silver video. That's part of the Ladies Leading Ladies group. Any other questions or comments? Thanks everybody for being with us today. We will be back together on Wednesday to continue rank advancement and focusing on silver. If you want to join us for Humans Being More next week on Tuesday, we will continue our series on speaking and presenting. Thanks everybody for being with us this evening.